Hello and welcome to this module of doing the follow up as a part of the 7 step process that we talked about. I am Arun Singhal. I am your coach and mentor with 40 years of experience in talent development. So, what are we going to do in this session today? As we've been doing in the earlier session, the idea of this session is to give you an in depth understanding of what's the best way to do your follow up to get a 5 minute to get an interview call that you're looking for. At the end of this module, you will understand why is it important to do the follow-ups well for your 5 minutes call. We will understand how is it that you do follow-ups today? How effective are those follow-ups? Then we will look at what's the best practice in doing the follow-ups to get onto an interview call. And then we will look at how could this follow-up look like in physical and real life. All right, so ready to go? Wonderful. So why should we do the follow-ups well to that our 5 minute call? So we have fixed a call, we had done that call, and now we need to do follow-ups in that. So why should we do the follow-ups at all is the question. Have you heard of the saying that success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration? Right, follow-ups are that 99% to getting your interview call. Strategy is nice, inspiration is nice, but it's the hard work that you need to do 99% of the time that gets you the success, in this case, an interview call for the role that you want. Right follow ups are necessary. Why is that necessary? To show the recruiter that you're interested in the company. If you do that call well and then you don't even follow up, would you think recruiter will be, what would the recruiter think? Is this guy really interested? He did this call really well and then he's kind of now chilling without even coming back. Recruiters are busy people, please understand this, and can forget you. They have hundreds and thousands of people, while you might have made some mark by doing that call well. But if you don't do follow up, they can forget you very quickly. And the follow ups tell you what exactly to do next instead of making a blind guess. Because, please, as you would have understood by now, getting a 5 minute call, getting your interview call is a step by step process, and you slowly keep moving towards that journey of getting that interview call. And if you don't do this follow up to the 5 minute call well, you could lose all the good work that you've done so far, starting with getting the 5 minute call as reach out of the company, doing that call where you've invested so far. And if you don't do follow up, that all that work will go waste. So does it make sense to do this 5 minute follow up to the 5 minute call well? Yes. So let's look at what you do. How do you do the follow ups today? Let's think about it. Go back and say if I have had a call with someone and if I need to follow up, what's the way I do my follow-ups? How do you do your follow-ups? Think about it, reflect on it, and note down if required on a piece of paper. And we will then tally quickly our notes on this. Right. What I understand how most of the people do follow-ups are, most of us are anxious to get hired, and that is at the top of our minds. So we follow up on getting hired. Hey, ma'am, hey, sir, did you take a look at my CV? Do you think I am the right candidate? When can I get hired? Straight away, they go to getting hired without understanding that getting hired is a longer time process. Other thing we do in terms of follow-ups is either we give long gaps of weeks. We don't talk, we feel shy, we're not confident of following up, and we give weeks together to follow up. I'm one of them as well. I feel shy to follow up, so I don't follow up. But I figured out a way how to do that. Or we follow up too quickly. We've sent out the CV yesterday, we've had a meeting yesterday, and next day we say, hey, ma'am, what about that? So in either case, if we have a long time to do follow up, either recruiter forgets us completely. Or if it is a very short follow up, he or she pushes her back and say, don't get off my back. That is the exact words they will either tell you or they will think about you. So, we keep putting our agenda on top, our own agenda, without having any concern for the recruiter's agenda. So, we are very self-centered at that point of time, which may be right from our perspective. But question is that right from the recruiter's point of view? Is that what recruiters like? And that will make recruiters unfriend us typically. Like, if you do a lot of spamming to someone on Facebook, you get unfriended, right? So, what's the right way to do the follow-ups? First, the follow-up should be done in line with the speed and suggestions given by the recruiter. Remember, you have done the call well last time, and your last question was to the person, "Hey, ma'am, hey, sir, when would you like me to come back to you?" So she or he has told you, and how would you like me to come back? So she might have said, "Hey, Arun, can you call me back next Monday at about 10 o'clock in the morning?" So that's your follow up time. So call, email, text as suggested in the previous meeting. Again, introduce yourself. You're not the only person in the world. You might have been completely forget. Say, "Hey, ma'am, sir, I'm Arul. Thank you so much for giving me this time to talk to you again. You had asked me to talk today at about 10 a.m. Is it a good time to talk?" Confirm again. Is it a good time to talk? So always a good practice before any call or meeting to check with the recruiter, because you never know what is happening in his or her world. It may be a bad time, and you don't want to make that follow-up time and it's a bad time, especially when you're working from home or even in office for that matter. Then thank appreciatively. Well, if she says yeah, if he says yes, that's a good time, let's talk. Then say, "Thank you so much, ma'am, sir, for providing that time that you have given to me. I appreciate your efforts in doing this." And then say, "Hey, ma'am, you had asked me to talk about this, so I just wanted to check. You'd asked me to come back and check with you whether about this. So can you tell me what exactly shall we do? What is the next step? What would you like me to do?" If he or she has asked you to provide some data, some information, the youth can then say, "Ma'am, this is the information that you asked me. This is what I'm providing to you now. Please tell me how should we." So, make the recruiter your guide and philosopher and friend. That's the whole idea. Go as per the speed. More and more you make the recruiter your friend, philosopher, and guide, she or he will start sharing the responsibility of giving an interview call and hiring you more and more. Listen, thank appreciatively, and note the next steps and go through and carry out these patients steps patiently and appreciatively. Patient and appreciation are two critical words, and it could happen that you get to the next interview call in couple of steps, couple of meetings, and it could take 6 months. You don't know. You have to keep throwing the balls in there and keep catching as they keep coming down and keep throwing them back again in there. So, what could a good follow up look like? So, a good follow up, the person whom you're talking to would have a smile on the face, would be looking at you in an audio call very appreciatively, would be saying nice things to you in general, will be nice to you. And so the nice things will get nice things to you, and the conversation will keep going on. The whole idea is to keep the conversation going. All right. So what did we learn in this module? We learned in this module is in a normal style of working, most of us miss time and misplace our follow-ups. We either don't do it in the right time, too long, or too short. And we do it at time and place wrong, which is not suitable to do a follow-up. And as a result of that, the process is not effective and it puts off the recruiter and aborts the process. So, what we need to do is consider doing the follow up to call, and that can keep the conversation going for as long as possible, ultimately converting in an interview call. That's what we want, isn't it? It's like kite flying. We need to keep the kite in the air all the time. Have you done kite flying? So there are times there is no wind in the sky, right? Now, at that point of time, your kite can't go up too high, so you have to hold it in the place. At the times there is huge wind, and then you need to make sure that you are flying in the direction of the wind. So you need to find the direction of the wind and keep your kite high in the sky so that it flies. We now know what a kind of follow up to do on a 5-minute call to convert that interview call if handled with tact and patience. So we have now completed all the 7 steps. We have talked about them. I have shared what I think are the best practices in doing these 7 steps. So what are we going to do now? Time to summarize? Absolutely right. So the next session we will do is I will summarize all our discussions so far, and then also suggest a couple of next steps in this. So thank you so much for watching this video for the follow up to a 5-minute call on the way to getting an interview call, and hope you have liked this session and you will find this useful. and look forward to seeing you again in the next summary session. Thank you again.